So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Carrasco Ranch. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in. So in this video, we're to cover one of the questions that was asked over a month ago at this point. I'm just finally getting to this question. But basically, how much does it cost to basically have the water system after you get the water well? So that includes your pressure tank, or in this case, a larger tank like this, or your smaller. Also, if any of you guys want to follow my blog post, it's called the zenfulwarrior.com. Zenful is one word, warrior is another word. I'll link it down below in the description. For those of y'all who are interested, you can definitely check out my website, check out the blog post, and it's inspirational, motivational, positive vibes on the website. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. By the way, YouTube is offering 25% off all merch. So if you go to the merch store, you can probably find it down below in the description, or it's popping up somewhere. You get 25% off, so that's pretty cool. Sponsored by YouTube. Anyways, so you got your well dug, which is probably, or well made, which is probably the most expensive thing you're going to do whenever you are getting a new property ready. After that is, you can have a little smaller pressure tank. Usually those pressure tanks are like a little blue, a couple gallons, maybe 30 gallons or less, sometimes 50, depending on what size you get. But those are usually the little blue tanks you see next to your water well. But in this case, I didn't go with that route. I went with a 3,000 gallon water tank. By the way, everything that I'm talking about today, if it has a link, it will be down in the description as well. Any of the parts that I use to set this whole configuration up will be down in the description as well. So definitely check it out there. There's a lot of good information that we talk about as YouTubers in the description. Without further ado, go ahead and continue. So this is a 3,000 gallon tank. This thing cost me, I believe, $2,300. It may have gone up since then. Obviously, things have inflated. I'll tell you real quickly. So why did I go with this thing? So most of the water wells you're going to see, they have the little blue pressure tank next to the water well, which is okay. But in the event that your water well stops working, you're not going to have water. If you're running it to a house, a cabin, wherever you're running the water to, you're not going to have water if your water well stops working. If something goes out, you're not going to have a water supply. So that's the reason we did this, and we put a tank, pump after this tank. So in case the water well does go out, I still have 3,000 gallons of water to use, and I'm not reliant on somebody coming out here and fixing the well for me, which could take, a couple days, a week, 2 weeks, depending on the parts, who's available, what company's available, pricing, etc. There's a lot of variables when the well goes out. So that's the reason we went this route. Is it gave me a couple days to play around in case something happened. I don't have to be rushing, immediately. I have to get it fixed. I have a couple days to think about it, probably even more than a week to think about it, because I still have water and I still have my pump here. So moving on from this tank is going to be, you got your ball valves there. We got a stainless steel hosing, and it's flexible, and it's supposed to be able to absorb the impact from the pump, because when the pump turns on, it has a little slight vibration. It's not a whole lot, because I did cement it into the concrete that we put there. I bolted it to the concrete, so it doesn't vibrate a whole lot as you would probably think. And we got a plane passing over. But anyways, so that absorbs some of the vibration, so it doesn't screw up the tank itself, because with all that vibration, if you don't put something to absorb that vibration, it's going to wear out that tank over time. It's just going to start creating leaks. So that's the reason that's there. Now from there, we went ahead and did, I can't even think of the word right now. Give me a second. Check valves. Couldn't think of the dang word. So we went ahead and put a check valve. We had to put some male fittings on the end. But those check valves were about $20 to $25. I don't remember exactly how much I paid, but I know that they were expensive. And then we put some 1-inch piping, couple elbows, another male fitting, another elbow, and then another male fitting to go into the tank. The fittings were not too expensive, probably $1 something each. The elbows probably about another $1 something each, sometimes even just slightly under $1. And then more male fittings coming out of the tank, and elbows, another check valve, and then another coupler, male coupler, and then a little 1-inch piece of PVC. And then we put a union at the end. I'll kind of break down real quickly why we did it this way. The union is in case something happens and I have to break things apart. I don't have to cut the whole line. I can just unscrew the union and I can work wherever I need to work. The check valve is so that way it keeps the pressure downstream, down the line. Because if you don't put that check valve there, your pump is going to be running all the time because it's never holding pressure. So that little pump will turn on when the pressure drops below 30 psi, and it'll turn off when it hits 50 psi. Well, if you don't have that check valve there, the pressure is going to be going back and forth, and it's just going to be short cycling that pump. So the pump itself ran me about $160 on Harbor Freight. I don't know if Amazon has it, but if it does, I will link it down below for sure. So definitely check the description. Yeah. So far so good. I can't really complain about it. The only thing I did have an issue with was in the cold. It has an air bladder inside that tank. During the winter time, the air bladder lost a lot of the air, so it was short cycling that unit. I couldn't figure out what was the problem, but that ended up being the problem after about a day of messing with it. So just keep that in mind. It does have a little bladder. That bladder does have to be filled up to 20 something or 18 psi, something like that. I have to look at it again, but make sure that thing is inflated correctly. There's a little valve on the end that you can kind of, like checking the air on a tire. You just check it, see if it's at that rating for psi. Again, I have to look at it again. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And this thing pretty much does what those big blue pressure tanks do. It's just a different setup. You know, I have more water in reserve, and I have the pressure tank here to regulate the water downstream. You want a pressure tank, this one comes built in, so that's why it's a good deal in my opinion. Like I said, $160, $180, somewhere in that range, under $200 for sure. You get the pump and the pressure tank together. It does have the valve, it has everything in there, it comes ready to go. And like I said, it's just different setup. You don't have to do it this way. It's just I'm trying to plan for the future in case something goes wrong. I have time to think, I have time to react, I have time to do something versus, you know, if I have a little smaller tank like those little blue ones, I'm not gonna have any water, so I have to get something done. Like I said, it just gives me more time to get things done. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Like I said, the tank itself was about $160, $180. All the fittings for the PVC, I know those, God dang, I can't think of the dang words all the time. Those check valves are about $20 a piece, so that's already 40. And you got a couple fittings on there, probably another $20 in total for even the PVC. So you got about 10, 20, 30, 40, about 40, $50 for all the fittings, PVC fittings, the couplers, all that good stuff. The stainless steel little deal was a little bit more pricey. I think that thing was like $30. And then your ball valve, that's also pretty pricey. I think I paid $29 for that thing. If you can get it in metal, it's obviously going to last a little bit longer, but you know, you are exposed more to corrosion. But yeah, it's kind of up to you. Plastic, I don't see it being a problem. It's kind of blocked by the sun, so it shouldn't have an issue. And again, the tank was about $2,200, $2,300. Yeah, this is part of what comes out of the water well, so that's, you know, something for another day. But yeah, I guess the last thing to kind of talk about is kind of building something to preserve and take care of your investment, because this is an investment, right? This little doghouse looking deal, it was just some old lumber that we had from another project. Same thing for this. This was left over from another project. Hinges I did go out and buy, but if I was to actually go out and buy material specifically for this, you're looking at about one of these sheets, actually pretty damn expensive. One of these sheets I think is like $45, $40, say 50. So that's already $50 right there. The Metal roofing, those sheets are also pretty expensive. If you buy an 8-footer, you're gonna have some left over, but probably another 20-25 bucks for this. So all in all, about $100, 120 bucks, and you can build yourself a little shed looking thing like this to kind of help preserve the longevity of that unit. So I guess one of the most important things too is also we did run electricity in here, so that costs a little bit of money, and we did throw a piece of concrete on here. We used hog panel with some leftover panel. It doesn't have to be super sturdy. It's not a huge pump. We used hog panel to kind of stabilize the concrete, and we ran electricity. So all in all, about 150 bucks to kind of build this little doghouse style cover for the pump. So my opinion, it's a good investment, because if it's exposed to the sun, freezing, any type of elements, it's gonna shorten the lifespan of this little guy. So in my opinion, it was worth it. And it just looks neater. You know, people don't want to be seeing all that kind of trash and stuff like that. So, but yeah, guys, I hope you found that useful, helpful, informational. Sorry it took me so long to get to this video, but yeah, hope that answered some questions. Like I said, all the prices are in the video. And if you have any other questions, definitely hit me up in the comment section. And yeah, check out my blog, zenfulwarrior.com. And until next time, guys, be careful, be good, take care, and God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.